Hi, I'm Janice Switlo, and today I'm continuing with part 18 of my book, Cede 2.0, regarding the First Nation Land Management Act. Are we talking reasonable measures for domestic ethnic minority members, or are we talking about meeting a reasonable standard for nationals of Indigenous nations? Shout out to Federal Department of Justice lawyers, my former colleagues. I expect you would agree with me that it is a long haul from providing accurate summaries of significant terms of leases produced by lawyers during a ratification process, either drafted or reviewed by you to ensure accuracy, to assist band members who may not be able to understand the technical legal language of leases, all with the view of better informing and assisting band members, to what is coming out of the FNLMA processes. The FNLMA process is also an incorporation. Even where votes have passed, I seriously doubt the decisions were fully informed. I like to think this was flagged by you, the risk of band members coming forward and saying, hey, no one told me that was included in what I was voting on, reminding that they did not have the actual documents to review or have someone review for them. But I suppose the upshot is, what risk is there if there is no real access to justice for them? The FNLMA is not reasonable due process and wholly insufficient where so much is at stake. Why the need for members to have independent legal advice? Well, clearly the inference from how this is all structured is that they are seen to have no such right. The soon-to-be First Nation has a lawyer, but that lawyer owes no duty to the community members. Lawyers take instructions from chief and counsel for an Indian band. Many members have come to know this. They have tried to obtain documents from, quote, their lawyer, end of quote, only to be told the lawyer cannot deal with them or give them anything. Clients are entitled to both. That was not their lawyer. That was the chief and counsel's lawyer. Only if instructed by the chief and counsel could that lawyer give documents to community members, and even then, I could not see a lawyer taking on such instructions. The usual response to community members is, go ask your chief and counsel. And if there is no cooperation from chief and counsel, the standard answer is, well, you voted them in. You wanted self-government. We gave you self-government. Live with it. A chief and counsel does not have to ask of its lawyers, hey, is this FNLMA regime a good thing for our people? The chief and counsel can instruct the lawyer to, quote, draft a land code, use this kind of conflicts provision, document the approval process. The chief and counsel, at their choice, can instruct the lawyer any way they wish, and that is also how it is post-land code when it comes to development deals. Lawyers do not and cannot provide business advice. Contrast that with Department of Justice lawyers and other Crown staff required to meet the standards of a fiduciary in the best interests of the band in reviewing a development proposal, including the structuring and the potential for income and profit. So who is independently tasked to look out for the members and all that during the FNLMA process? Truly, no one. The assumption is that there is no conflict of actual interest, potential or perceived, so no need. That might work where it can be demonstrated that this is only about some Aboriginal groups lobbying to try to get something from the government. But is that all you are? Some Aboriginal group? Who are you? I continue to ask. Answer that first before considering the FNLMA regime. And be sure you are sure. Let's look a little closer at some definitions and grammar usage. Aboriginal. Quote, for a long time, the Aboriginals were not even included in the consensuses as they were viewed as part of the region's fauna. That's from Merriam-Webster Dictionary. Quote, Aboriginal, having existed from the beginning in an earliest or original stage or state, Aboriginal forests, primal eras, before the appearance of life on Earth, the forest primeval, primordial matter, primordial forms of life, the Free Dictionary by Farlex. Quote, usage notes. Given that AL is an adjective suffix and that Aboriginal was originally an adjective, Aborigines being the original noun, the usage of Aboriginal as a noun was for a time considered incorrect. Usage notes. In Canada, Aboriginal is most commonly capitalized, indicated by its status as the main head word in the Canadian Oxford Dictionary. The term has official status in the Constitution Act of 1982, and while recognizing that it is encountered in lower case, since 1994 the Government of Canada has recommended the word be always capitalized, like for example Asian, Hispanic, and Nordic, and that it be used as a modifier, not a proper noun. It is used in this way by the Canadian Hazzard and the Canadian Oxford Dictionary, as in, quote, Aboriginal Canadian, end of quote. Then consider again the current term in use, Aboriginal groups. The modifier, an adjective, Aboriginal, describing the noun group. Group is defined as follows. A number of people or things that are together or in the same place. A number of people who are connected by some shared activity, interest, or quality. A number of things that are related in some way. A number of individuals assembled together or having some unifying relationship. An assemblage of related organisms, often used to avoid taxonomic connotations when the kind or degree of relationship is not clearly defined. Aboriginal groups paints a very fuzzy picture of who or even what is being discussed. It certainly does not mirror the language of nationals of nations. Canada is a proper noun and Canadian is a proper adjective. Canadians are the people who are identified with the country of Canada. This connection may be residential, legal, historical, and or cultural. For most Canadians, several, frequently all of those types of connections exist and are the sources of their being considered Canadians. Canada is directing that Aboriginal be capitalized, but it is not a proper noun. It is a modifier, as in Aboriginal Canadians. It is very easy to consider the FNLMA regime, whereby the only thing that exists are Aboriginal Canadians, domestic ethnic minorities, whose only creation and existence is at the will of the Crown. There the Crown acts on decisions of Parliament as presented to her by her Privy Council ministers, on whose directions she must now comply as the result of the delegated self-government exercise the Crown has conferred in Canada through constitutional development.